Oh, time for a DataMiner kata. Hello and welcome to another Bringing the Thunder. My name is Jan. I've been told I've been too enthusiastic in previous katas, so I'll be... Nah, I'm just kidding. I'm not doing that. No. In fact, today is a very special episode. Welcome to Bringing the Thunder. We're doing another kata, and where's my guest? Because as you can see, there's no one here unless they're invisible, but they're not. In fact, I have a special guest, a good friend of mine as well, a colleague from Portugal who is joining me. That would be João Severino. Hello, João. João, are you there? Are you
I'm
there?
here, Jan. I'm here.
He is here. Excellent. We have connection across the world to Portugal. Hello,
Live from Lisbon, Portugal.
Live from Portugal. Excellent.
Yeah.
So, João, you're here today. Tell me a little bit about yourself. Who are you and what do you do at Skyline Communications?
Yeah. My name is João Severino. I'm a DevOps engineer at Skyline. I've been here for roughly 7 years, and I'm part of the data acquisition team. And we manage a few of the parts of DataMiner, and we keep things running.
Yeah,
and
pretty much.
Together with that, we develop a few interesting things. That
occasionally, yes.
We are going, occasionally. That I'm going to showcase one of them today.
So, excellent. Yeah, because I have heard about it because, I'm also in that squad, also in that group working on things. So we have standard connectors as we know them today, also known as protocols or drivers, depending on how old you are. But you've got something really awesome to show us today, something new, something fancy. I believe it's scripted connectors.
Exactly. So as you mentioned, we have our standard connectors, and we are currently working on the scripted connectors, which is a new way of doing things, and it was mostly geared towards our users that sometimes they are experts in their field, but they don't have the opportunity to get to know all the ins and outs of how to develop a DataMiner connector. So that's why we decided to go this route and have the scripted connectors. And together with it, we have the data sources and data API, which we'll be showcasing a bit today, and also getting our users to start playing around with it and using it.
For sure. So you mentioned in their fields. What is that exactly then? Because what do you mean by that? Different languages or different frameworks? Or
you may have. For me, I'm a developer. I'm very familiarized with the XML of DataMiner and the C#, but in other fields, their expertise could lie in Python, which is a very powerful tool to do quick scripts, and you can do almost everything. If you are in IT, you very likely are familiarized with PowerShell. So our goal was to open up a bit the possibilities to our end users.
Yeah, allowing different scripting languages, Python, stuff like that. So you've got something really fun for us prepared. It's an exercise we can all do.
Exactly.
And follow along with it. Nice. Are there any prerequisites that we should have before we go into this adventure?
Yes, there are. As I mentioned, it's something we have been developing. So we'll need to install a couple of things. I'll show a bit in one of our machines. So I'll create a DAS, and we'll go through the steps to do things. So I'll start already to go to the admin.
So, and all of this is also documented in the docs. I saw that on the screen.
Yeah, indeed. So let's just log in. Actually,
so you're going to spin up a DAS now, or you already spun one up earlier?
In cooking shows, I have something already in the oven ready, so we don't waste too much time. But
I love that. Like you're putting in the lasagna and then immediately take it out fully cooked.
Yeah,
I know what you mean.
you can see I already have here, but I'll show you the steps. So
Oh, yeah.
if you haven't seen, we have a kata done by our CTO, where I believe it's kata number 11,
Yes.
where you can see how to spin up a DAO. So I can just data API kata,
Mhm.
and it will create. I'll just select the password.
Mhm. Yeah, indeed. We had a kata indeed with Bert Vandenberg himself showing us how to, spin up a DOS and all of that. So really fun stuff. So we're now just showing that again as a quick summary. And then we'll do the good old movie magic where we already are, the cooking show magic where we already have one ready. But the people following along, do they need to create a new one, or does it have prerequisites getting installed on a new one, or if you have one, or if you have your own machine?
Yeah, you can do it on DAS, or you can do it on your own machine. The only thing I'll go here back to the docs. This is a feature that is currently only available as preview, and as such, you need to enable the data API soft launch flags. You can see here how it is done. You can read about it and do it. So given this, we only advise for now to use on staging environments or developing environments. So, and you can see already here the minimum version is 10.4.2, which is released, and 10 for main release, which is imminent as well.
Yes.
Yeah. So as you can see from here, you have a couple of prerequisites. You need the 10.4.2 feature release or 10 for the main release. Together with that, you need a couple of DXMs, the data aggregator and the data API DXM. So
yes,
it's currently doing this, but I'll show you here in the.
we have one set up. Yeah.
Yeah. So
okay, so either you do all of those prerequisites on an existing one, or you spin up a new one. Great.
Yeah. So you come here to notes. You'll see all of this. You can see that I'm already installed on mine, but you'll see data API version 1.0.0 and data aggregator version 3.0.0. One small note here, data aggregator already exists. It has a few previous releases. If you come from a previous release and you have anything configured, there is a migrator tool and a few migrator steps also documented that you should follow in order to upgrade.
Okay.
Small thing,
migrate tool, but it's probably part of the documentation as well, I'm guessing, where you can follow that step by step. Okay.
If you go here to nodes, it hasn't yet, but you could then click to deploy and deploy. So similar to what you have here to showcase. And then it would be a matter of just clicking into opening the desktop. Yep. Click on queue.
And then we're in our home turf. We're in our DataMiner.
And here we are.
Excellent. Yeah. So that's a prerequisite. Is that the only one, or any others?
It's the DXMs I mentioned, the soft launch flag, and the 10.4.2 in this case.
Okay, so that's everything. Great. Now, you gave a very quick introduction on scripted connectors, indicating that, what's in the name, and they are like a connector. So I'm going to guess they are like a connector, and you can make elements and stuff with them. And you also mentioned that people having more knowledge in other scripting languages will be maybe more comfortable with creating one like that. But what does that actually mean? Like, what am I supposed to imagine there? What's going on? What did you do?
To give you a bit of the behind the scenes, what we created is a way of doing calls towards DataMiner, and then I'm just while I'm talking, just click to navigate to this. And you can use any language and any way. You just need to send us data formatted as a JSON. It doesn't need to be a specific structure, so it doesn't have a schema or something like that. If you send us data, we'll be able to do something with it. there are a few limitations, but nothing too crazy. You don't need to specify anything specific. You can just go from a basic standpoint.
Okay, so you mentioned briefly the JSON. So I'm guessing the data structure is always going to have to be a JSON, but that's pretty much the guideline there. So it's a JSON structure containing data, and then our DXM or code that you've been working on is then clever enough to know what to do with it.
Yeah, indeed. So we choose JSON and a web API because this way it's not like I wrote a NuGet and you can only use it in C#. It's if you can do it HTTP call, you can pretty much use our API, no problems.
Okay. Yeah, pretty much every scripting language I know of is able to do HTTP calls. So it's an HTTP API to communicate to DataMiner. It's you're sending JSON data, and our system is clever enough to actually end up with an element or to do something with it, I'm guessing. For the exercise itself, what should we be looking at? What should we be doing?
So exactly for the exercise, I already opened GitHub. We have on our Skyline communications organization, we have a few example scripted connectors that you can take a look and use as a starting point, or also to just for the exercise, we'll use the Amsterdam Internet Exchange.
Okay.
If you click here, you'll see there is a ams.py, so it's a Python one. You can just go here, click copy raw file. In the end, you go back to this UI. So in this case,
what is that UI? Because you went there, but I kind of missed it. So maybe.
So this, the first part is the URL for my DAS machine. So you can see if you navigate. Typically, if you don't do anything, like this, you'll end up in the root. But if instead of root you type data dash source, data sources
or data source,
it will do a bit of a redirect to module/data sources, but you'll end up here. It's the part of the data sources where you'll be able to create your scripted connectors and run them periodically, basically.
Okay, so we're on that UI indeed, going to the root of your agent, but then specifying data-sources as the path to follow. Then you end up there. I'm gonna guess we're gonna probably make some UI or button in the future to go there, I'm guessing. But
it's I also can show you in a different place this UI if I connect here to you. I open this. This will also be available from within Cube. So you can go via browser, but you can also, if you're already managing your system inside the DataMiner Cube, you'll also be able to do it from here. You can just go here to the apps, and you'll see data sources here.
Okay. Yes. So it's from two locations, approachable either through the Cube program itself or through the browser, like you showed earlier. Cool. So we're on that page. You copy to Python. I'm gonna guess you're just gonna paste that in there somewhere.
Yeah, I have a pretty nice create button here. So
cool.
You'll see the UI is simple. You just give it a name. So I'll just call it AMS for simplicity. Out of the box, we have Python and PowerShell available. Eventually, and depending on interest from our users, we'll evaluate which ones we add support here. But for now, I think this already covers a lot. So I can just paste here my code. I'll just give a brief overview of what it's doing. It's setting up the URL where it's going to request the data, telling it what locations we want. Just some minor parsing. You don't have to do that much parsing, like I mentioned. This API returns a JSON, so you could almost send what you receive directly, and it should work fine. In this case, we are just tweaking a few things here and there.
Yeah, because the service or the device is already sending a JSON as a response. You could theoretically almost push that entire thing in one go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. In this case, we only did a minor parsing because for the Amsterdam location, the units are in terabytes. For the other ones, they are not. So just so it looks correct, and it shows all in the same base. We just did a few tweaks here and there. So I click create.
Okay.
You'll see that this will, it won't initialize immediately. It will take a few seconds, but it will then run on a minute basis. So you can already see that an element was created. So
right. Yes, there it is.
Yeah. And here you have your data.
So pretty much this kind of, what's the word, obfuscates some of the complexity / flexibility, of course, of a standard connector. But the scripted connector gives you more power through using a scripting language of your choice. And it kind of handles automatically a whole bunch of the creating parameters and all of that stuff and making the element. So that element is in there, but like if I send that the same data again, I'm gonna guess it's updating the elements with new data, or?
Yeah, right now it's on a 1 minute base, so I don't know if the values will change that much in here. So, but yeah, if in 1 minute this value were to change, you would see it reflect here immediately. I can show that the example with the coin cap here. This is another API we found that has Bitcoin data. So you can see here, and I'm already showing a bit of more possibilities, but you can see here, it has a table with all the index that it has. And you can see from the trend data, this is also every minute being sent, and you can see the values are changing as the API gets pulled.
Okay, so and that's the crypto market. That's okay, and you've hooked it up to analytics, I'm guessing, and trending. So how much are you making from that, Joao? No.
Nothing.
Be honest, nothing. Yeah.
No.
Using our AI to figure out, or our analytics to figure out what happens.
I'm just collecting data as an example. Nothing to do with AI. In fact, you can see AI is still too gray to jump anything.
Perfect. That's amazing. So, and this might end up, unless you've got a lot of other things, this might end up as being the shortest exercise we've ever seen, because it's that easy to do. You literally just grabbed that JSON script, plunked it in that new UI we have, and it created an element. Can we do everything with that element? Are there any limitations there, or can I add alarms, alarm templates and trending and correlation rules and
Yeah, you can do it. It's, as you can see, it looks like any other element you have seen in DataMiner before. You already see that you have the trending icons next to the perimeter. So by default, we already enable trending for everything, so that you don't need to do it. So you can just you arrive here, you have everything available. Right now you don't have data because it just started. But if I go to the templates, you can see from the element, it has a trend template assigned by default.
Okay.
So you can see that for every single parameter, we enable real-time and average. Okay. But you can further tweak this. So if you leave the default, we'll keep adding as new parameters can be added. So this is another very powerful feature. If I decide I also wanted to add an extra tracker here, for instance, for Lisbon, I could add to just be another parameter that would appear here in the UI. And the parameter would appear, the trending would be automatically added. You don't need to worry about anything. We try to make it as easy as possible and as automatically configurable as possible. But yeah, as you could see as well, let me just close this. It's all these menus look like any other element you have. So
I've got a question, Joao. Can you? Because I just noticed you can do a view protocol there.
Yeah.
what does that do then? Because I'm guessing this is generated. So
Yeah, that's one thing. So you can
read
see
only.
here, this
Okay.
protocol is read only, so don't touch it.
Don't touch it. Okay, but we added something in there to indicate,
Yeah.
okay, that was generated from,
You can see,
it's a scripted connector pretty much, like the name tells.
You can see it in here. This protocol is generated by DataMiner Data API. So
right.
Even if you connect to a system you didn't know your colleague had created this, if you what is this strange new thing here, you can figure out immediately.
Pretty quick.
So it's auto-generated. Okay. It also has the auto-generated here, and you can see you can't edit it. It just has the OK and apply disable, so you don't mess up with this.
Okay.
But you can see just normal parameters. And
another question. Sorry for the question. It was going to be a short one, and then I start talking, of course. But as we all know, a question: what happens for like removal? How would I remove something like that? Do I just delete the elements, or do I need to go through the UI of the scripted connectors, or how does that work?
You can delete the element, so you can just delete. But the one small caveat is, while you have it in here, it will try to recreate it afterwards again.
Yeah, after a few seconds.
Yeah.
Okay. So you need to remove it from the scripted connect from the data sources, I think is the terminology there. Okay.
You see, it came back.
It came back. Okay. So for everyone, if you delete an element and suddenly it comes back, it could be a generated or a scripted connector that's creating that element. And is there a way in the element to see that, if it was created like that, or just a broad protocol for now?
For now, you'll see from the protocol. Okay. There is also another thing, if I remember correctly. You can see in every element you have the general parameters, which you'll be familiar from other things. You have properties, you have DCF and things like that. But you'll see that we have here a data API info, which if you go to the general page, you'll have at the bottom the page button to open, or you can navigate from there. And if you click here, any auto-generated connector, so any scripted connector, will have an identifier, which is what you configure in your scripted connector to tell it what is the type. So in this case, it's the AMS. In the coin cap, you'll see. Let me just close this one.
We'll have a different identifier.
Yeah, I'm guessing. It's a coin cap tracker. What is this? It's so you can group together. Imagine that let's say for argument's sake, you're monitoring all your water meters in your properties. You can just have the data API identifier be water meter, and then you tell it it's the water meter for the house, the water meter for the garden, the water meter for the office, and things like that. And that would be the name you give it here, so like the element name, so house water meter, and this would be the type, the identifier, just water meter.
I see. Okay, so those are two ways you can quickly see if it's generated from a scripted connector. I might have derailed your exercise. I'm sorry. Was there anything else on that exercise that you say you want to show people, you want them to get their hands on and try and do?
I think for the exercise, people can just submit a screenshot of their scripted connector here with the Python and the element itself.
Sure. Okay. And so just to reiterate here, so we've got the standard connectors, which is more about flexibility and the ability to do a whole bunch of stuff with it. We have now scripted connectors, which is the opposite of the story, is where we're going for simplicity. We're going for, you want something, you just want it quick, and you don't want to, have to learn the XML language as a whole, the one that we provide for standard connectors. So the scripted connectors that you showed us are indeed extremely simple. They're really fast as well. We saw that when you did those changes, you just sent that data. Currently, we had support for Python and what was the other one? Ruby? No, Python and...
No, PowerShell.
PowerShell, yes, Python and PowerShell. But if there are other languages, they can, I guess, contact us and we'll look into it. Okay,
So
well, I think
this is going to be a soft launch. So the main goal is for us to gather feedback, and that could be a thing that our users come back to us and say, we would really love to have such programming language supported by default.
So pretty much a preview of this feature, but it is released as a soft launch, right? So it is it's usable, and we actually encourage people to use it. So we can get that feedback on things that you might want to see differently, or other ideas or suggestions you have with this very exciting new technology within the DataMiner environment as a whole. So I think we'll probably try and leave it at this, Joao. I want to thank you for making some time in preparing this. I hope you were as enthusiastic and excited as I was. And if you're watching this from YouTube, remember, like, subscribe, ring that bell, and I'll catch you on the next one.